chairing a meeting with top business and industry leaders, bankers and economists to discuss global economic scenario. The meeting is being held amid turbulence in global markets caused by a slowing Chinese economy and concerns as the US prepares to raise interest rates. Business leaders, bankers and economists are participating in the meeting will deliberate on the recent developments in the global economy and the opportunities they present for India. The agenda for the consultative meeting is recent global events, opportunities for India, but it is expected that other issues concerning the Indian industry may also come up for discussion. And my colleague Ajay Mishra joins us with more on that story. Ajay, first let's talk about really the importance of this meeting, looking at the current global scenario and also the microeconomic factors that could be affecting the economy and what really, how it's going to be taking forward from here.
I think, Priyanka, the major point of discussion in today's high-level meeting, which the Prime Minister is chairing currently with the top corporate honchos and also the budget team of Ministry of Finance along with the RBI and NITI Aayog, is how the situation, the current global economic situation can be molded in favor of India and how the India can be made another engine of growth of the global growth at this point in time. And we know that domestically there are so many macroeconomic issues. First and foremost, the interest rate. Everybody feels that at this point in time this is the right time and opportune time to cut the interest rate, and it will be impressed upon the Prime Minister and also the RBI officials to cut the interest rate in the December policy review.
Ajay,
looking at the current economic situation, especially in China, yes, Priyanka.
But when we're talking about that interest rate cut, even in the year we've seen, in the last 1 year, we've seen about a 75 basis point of rate cut, but that's not really been passed on. Is that also something that is likely to come up? Because the industry, that has been a long pending demand of the industry to cut interest rate, but I'm sure there are other issues also that will be brought to the table.
Yes, Priyanka, very much. You are right that the 75 basis point cut in the interest rate has not been passed fully on to the prospective customers and also the industry, and that's why the RBI has proposed the norms of deciding the base rate for all the banks. So from now onwards, it is believed that the base rate will be homogeneously decided by the banks, and it will be smoother for them to pass on the benefits of the repo rate cut to the prospective clients. So this will be the major agenda of discussion in today's meeting. And also, you know that the budget exercise has just begun 2 months before the schedule, and the whole budget team is inside along with the NITI Aayog officials and officials from the regulators like RBI and SEBI. So it is believed that the points which will be raised by the top corporate participants here will be noted down by the budget team here itself, and it is very much likely that in the next budget some of the points which are long term in perspective will be incorporated during the budget, but in the short term whatever decisions can be taken through executive orders which need not to go to the parliament for the approval of parliament and for the constitutional amendment like GST will be discussed, and this is also it is also likely to be discussed that how the flagship programs of the government can be translated more into reality on the ground, like Digital India, Make in India and Startup India, which the Prime Minister have just put forward before the nation, Priyanka.
Now, Ajay, how much of a concern is the rupee also going to be looking at the Fed meeting and those interest rates that could be hiked in the United States, the kind of pressure that is going to be putting on the rupee? How much of a concern is that really when it comes to the industry and also for the government as a whole?
Absolutely, the weakening of rupee will be the prime concern which will be put forward in the meeting, and also the concern on the front of exports, because the exports has been in negative from so many months. So the concern on the front of rupee as well as on exports and also agriculture because of the weak monsoon. These are the top 3 concerns which will be deliberated and discussed upon. And you know that the prospects of rise in interest rate in the US and also the latest data in the China, which has shown that there is a clear signs of mildness in both in the import and exports from the China, which is the clear indication of a slowdown in China is very much part of the discussion in today's meeting, Priyanka.
Now, Ajay, just looking at the kind of visuals we've got, we're seeing bankers there, also business honchos from different industries. So if we talk about the industries which are in need right now of a push, if you could segregate those for us and talk about the certain sectors and the kind of problems they will be bringing to the table, or the kind of discussions that they will be bringing to the table.
I think manufacturing will be one big point which will be discussed, and Make in India, along with the Startup India campaign, which has been given to the DIPP, which is the core agency responsible for ease of doing business in India, is going to be the prime focus. And also along with the manufacturing, agriculture is as a major concern, and the decisions on the front of in the field of agriculture is likely to be discussed, and how the growth in the agriculture can be revived in the country because of the weak monsoon. There is a pressure on the prices also. When prices will be under control, it will be easier for the government and the RBI to take a position on the interest rates, which will be on the positive side for the economy. So the growth rate along with the inflation management will be very much part of the discussions. And as far as the other area is concerned, Digital India, Housing for All, and a Power for All by 2022, which are the major flagship programs of the government, are very much high on the agenda, and how the government and the industry can come forward, and how the cooperative and competitive federalism with the participation of state governments can bear the fruit on the ground is going to be discussed. I believe that we have 40 odd participants. They will be given the time of 3 to 5 minutes each, so the meeting may last by maybe 2 to 3 hours. And it is expected that the minutes will be later collected at one place, and then the policy action will start, both from the short-term perspective as well as from the long-term scenario, Priyanka.
Now, Ajay, you need to keep a close eye on the business sector for us. Now, if you look at the kind of global, scenario that is currently prevailing, whether it's China or other global economies as well, if I talk to you about the kind of opportunity pockets that really lie for India, where are they?
As far as the opportunities are concerned, India is currently positioned as one of the best economies for the investment, for the global investment. You have seen, India has witnessed almost 41% increase in FDI since the launch of Make in India last year only. So India is focusing right now is not the hot money in terms of FII investment, but the FDI investment, which are the long-term in nature, which are going to stay in the economy for some time. Also, the macroeconomic fundamentals like the forex situation, the current account deficit, along with the fiscal deficit situation, is very much under control. The crude oil situation is conducive to the Indian economy, and you may recall that the chief economic advisor had said this is like a tax cut for the Indian economy, and India might want to use this opportunity to make a strategic reserve for the long-term energy security of the country. So the fundamentals, both in terms of growth prospects and in terms of macroeconomic numbers, be it the fiscal deficit number, be it the current account deficit number, which is well below the comfort level of 2.5%, is just 1.5%. It is expected that the current account deficit, which directly put pressure on the rupee and inflation, is very much under control. There is the only concern at this point in time seems to be on the inflation side, because of the weak monsoon, which the learned participants would try to address how in the short term agriculture growth or the supply of the food grains can be increased via the better import in the short term. So the strategies of strategic reserves and buffer stocks for the essential commodities, which might put pressure on the inflation, that might be discussed. Although what are the problems on the manufacturing side? Why the core sector is not picking up? Why the production in the coal industry, also in the agriculture, I think electricity production, electricity generation, why it is lagging? What can be done to enhance the productivity of solar power in the country for the long-term energy security? What can be done on the tourism side, for example, and how the state can be sensitized to harness the potential of the tourism in their respective states, and how the Niti Aayog can play a central role to mobilize the resources as well as the policy actions from the state governments in the different fields which they fit suit to. Smart City Initiative, which is the major initiative of the government, how it can find a place in the policy, and also in the balance sheet of the India Inc.
Okay.
and the basic manufacturing items, the manufacturing of semiconductor and other items which the government is focusing, how they can find the place in the policies of the India Inc. That might be discussed, Priyanka.
Now, Ajay, we've all talked about the kind of role that the industry or the kind of problems that the industry have, various sectors have, but what about when it comes to creating jobs, when it comes to boosting the investment cycle? How is that going to be put forward also? And the industry is going to be told to participate in this whole growth trajectory of India and also to create more employment for the youth particularly.
I think if I understood your question correctly, you're asking about how to promote employment, especially for the youth. We know that there are several initiatives by the government in terms of promoting employment, especially the skill development program, along with the Mudra Bank initiative, which has been just launched, and how the problem of finance for the Startup India, Stand Up India is going to be tackled is a major challenge before the government, and it is also going to be discussed. It is also deliberated upon in this meeting. We know that the DIPP, which is the Department of Industrial Promotion and Policy, has been given the responsibility to chalk out the plan, the long-term plan to take action on the Startup India campaign, which very much is dependent on the ease of doing business, which is in the control of DIPP. Along with that, the skill development programs by the new Ministry of Skill Development, which is being headed by Rajiv Pratap Rudy, is very much in focus, and how the skill development, along with the conducive environment for availability of finance, can be made available to the startup, and also on the taxation front and policy front. Also, how the startups can be incentivized might be discussed, Priyanka.
But Ajay, the government is doing its bids, but what about the role of the industry in also trying to take this forward and create more jobs and boost that whole investment cycle?
I think the industry captains are going to speak a lot on the problems that they are facing, maybe on the front of infrastructure, maybe on the front of interest rates, and might be the global economic situation, because most of the industries are export oriented, and they are exported in the other countries from where the demand is not picking up. So how the exports can be supported by the government, how the interest subvention schemes from different industries can be thought of at this point in time, will be discussed upon, and they will put before the government that first the PSU should start investing, so that there is a conducive environment and also a sense of security among the investors, that if the PSUs have started investing, if the public investment has started taking place in the economy, the private investment will also follow suit.
All right, Rajiv Mishra, we're going to leave it there, but thanks so much for joining us. We'll obviously keep coming back to you for more on that important meeting.